You know how they say, a house is just bricks and mortar? Well, some houses are holding on to something else. A kind of chill that never really leaves, a stain that just won't scrub out. We're not talking about the odd flickering light or a door creaking in the wind here. We're talking about places where pure terror became a permanent resident, where the walls themselves almost seem to scream. So brace yourselves. Welcome everyone to a little trip into the heart of fear itself. Tonight we're creaking open the doors to 10 of the most terrifying real-life haunted houses known to man. These aren't just spooky campfire stories. Oh no, these are infamous locations. Every single one with a dark, well-documented history and a legacy of chilling paranormal encounters that have been sparking nightmares for generations. From the blood-soaked floors of Amityville to the forever disturbed halls of the Villisca Axe murder house, these are the stories that will make you seriously question what truly lies beyond the veil. You might want to leave a light on for this one. Our descent into darkness kicks off at what's probably the most notorious haunted house in American history, 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, New York. Its peaceful, suburban look? That's hiding a truly gruesome truth. Back in November 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. systematically murdered his entire family, his parents and his 4 younger siblings, all while they slept in their beds. The sheer brutality of that crime was enough to scar the property forever, but what happened next is what catapulted it into paranormal infamy. Just a year later, the Lutz family bought the house for a price that seemed too good to be true, hoping for a fresh start. Instead, they walked into a 28-day nightmare. George Lutz said he woke up at 3:15 a.m. every morning, around the same time as the DeFeo murders. The family reported a whole list of terrifying things: cold spots that made no sense, swarms of flies even though it wasn't fly season, and awful, unexplainable smells. Walls supposedly oozed green slime and crucifixes spun upside down. Kathy Lutz and her sons reportedly levitated, and George even saw a demonic pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. A priest who came to bless the home was allegedly met with a booming voice yelling, "Get out!" and later got these weird, painful welts on his hands. Totally overwhelmed by how quickly things were escalating, the Lutz family fled the house, leaving everything behind. So, of course, the story blew up, spawning countless books and movies, and it's now a huge piece of American folklore. People still argue whether the paranormal stuff was real or not. Interestingly, later owners have had mixed experiences. Some say nothing weird happened at all, but still the legend of the Amityville Horror just won't die. Next up, we find ourselves in the quiet, almost sleepy town of Villisca, Iowa, home to a crime so shocking and strange, it's still unsolved over 100 years later. On the night of June 9, 1912, the Moore family, Josiah, Sarah, their 4 children and 2 young house guests, Lena and Ina Stillinger, were all bludgeoned to death with an axe while they slept. Discovering 8 bodies the next morning threw the small town into a state of utter shock and terror. Whoever did it had moved methodically through the house, covering mirrors with cloth and the victims' faces with bed linens after the murders. Despite a bunch of suspects, including a traveling minister known for odd behavior and even a state senator, no one was ever convicted of the crime. The house, now a historical landmark, stands as a grim monument to that horrific night. Visitors and paranormal investigators often report a deeply unsettling vibe. The sounds of children's laughter and disembodied voices are apparently common, especially in the kids' bedrooms upstairs. Shadowy figures have been spotted darting through rooms, and objects are said to move all on their own. Some folks have reported feeling sudden cold drafts, while others claim they've been touched, pushed, or even scratched by something they couldn't see. The lingering mystery of who committed such a monstrous act and why seems to have trapped some kind of residual energy within the walls of the Villisca Axe murder house, forever echoing the terror of that summer night. The house is open for tours, and you can even stay overnight, if you're brave enough to face whatever darkness lurks inside. Let's head down to the lively historic streets of New Orleans to a mansion whose beautiful exterior hides a truly monstrous past, the LaLaurie Mansion. Back in the early 1830s, this grand home belonged to Dr. Louis LaLaurie and his wife, Madame Delphine LaLaurie, who was, a big name in society. Madame LaLaurie threw some famous parties, but darker rumors started spreading among the locals about how cruelly she treated the enslaved people who worked in her household. The horrifying truth finally came out on April 10, 1834, when a fire broke out in the mansion's kitchen. Rescuers, rushing in to help, were met with a scene of absolute horror. According to eyewitness accounts, they discovered enslaved individuals chained up and subjected to barbaric torture in a hidden attic room. The atrocities were so vile that an enraged mob descended on the mansion, destroying whatever they could. Madame LaLaurie fled New Orleans, supposedly escaping to Paris, and was never actually brought to justice for her crimes. Ever since that awful day, the LaLaurie Mansion has been known as one of the most haunted spots in a city already famous for its spirits. Generations of residents and visitors have reported terrifying paranormal activity. Moans, despairing groans, and blood-curdling screams are said to echo through its empty halls and from behind its walls. The distinct sound of dragging chains has been reported, a chilling reminder of the suffering that went on there. Apparitions of tormented souls, and even of Madame LaLaurie herself, described as a red-haired woman glaring menacingly, have allegedly been seen. Some who've owned the property have reportedly run into serious misfortune, leading to theories about a curse. While you can't usually go inside, its exterior is a prominent and chilling stop on New Orleans ghost tours, a stark testament to the unspeakable cruelty that happened within those walls. Now let's hop over to the tropical paradise of Honolulu, Hawaii, to a place locals call the Kasha House of Kaimuki. This ordinary-looking house got its terrifying reputation after a very well-documented incident back in 1941. Police were called to the house, and what they walked into was chaos. A family was being violently and inexplicably attacked by an unseen force. Objects were apparently flying across rooms, and family members were reportedly being physically assaulted by something they couldn't even see. Local legends offer some pretty chilling explanations. Some believe the house is haunted by a Kasha, which is a type of Japanese demon or yokai said to feed on corpses and sometimes torment the living before they die. Others think the malevolent presence is the angry spirit of someone whose body was secretly buried in the yard, their eternal rest disturbed. The sheer intensity of the reported activity, including those poltergeist-like assaults witnessed by the police, terrified the community. Even after the original house was torn down, stories insisted that the land itself was still cursed. Reports of strange occurrences and an unsettling atmosphere in the area have continued over the decades, making sure the Kasha House's legacy as one of Hawaii's most frightening paranormal hotspots lives on, a place where an invisible terror once absolutely reigned. Next, we're visiting the crumbling Haught Mansion in Brush Park, Michigan. This once grand Victorian home has definitely seen better days, and its decay seems to reflect a dark and sinister past. Originally built in the late 19th century, the mansion supposedly served as a high-class brothel in the early to mid-20th century. Its reputation wasn't great to begin with, but things got much darker when, as local legends and urban myths tell it, several bodies were discovered in its cellar. The most disturbing detail about these alleged discoveries was that each corpse was said to be marked with a perfect, unnerving circle on their torso. What those circles meant, or if the bodies were even really found, is still shrouded in mystery and local gossip, adding to the building's ominous vibe. For years, the Haught Mansion has stood empty, a magnet for urban explorers and paranormal investigators drawn by its grim tales. So, those who've dared to go inside have reported this heavy, oppressive feeling, you know? There are these unexplained cold spots, disembodied voices, and of course that classic unsettling feeling of being watched. The stories of ghostly presences, maybe linked to its time as a brothel, or those alleged gruesome discoveries in the cellar, they just keep circulating, making the Haught mansion a chilling testament to urban decay and whispered horrors. Lizzie Borden took an axe. You know the infamous nursery rhyme, right? It hints at the horrific events that unfolded in a modest house in Fall River, Massachusetts, now known simply as the Lizzie Borden house. On a sweltering August morning in 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden, Lizzie's father and stepmother, were brutally murdered with a hatchet. Lizzie herself was the primary suspect. She went through this sensational trial that totally captivated the entire nation before she was ultimately acquitted. The question of who really committed those gruesome slayings still remains one of America's most enduring unsolved mysteries. Today, the house operates as a bed and breakfast and museum, inviting anyone who's morbidly curious to step right into the scene of the crime. And, many who do report that the Bordens, or maybe some other troubled spirits, have never truly left. Staff and guests alike have shared a wide array of paranormal experiences. Apparitions, including that of a woman in Victorian-era clothing believed to be Abby Borden, have apparently been seen in various parts of the house, especially in the guest room where Abby met her end. The disembodied sounds of weeping, unexplained footsteps on the stairs, and doors opening and closing on their own are pretty common reports. Cold spots are frequently felt, especially in the very rooms where the murders happened. Whether it's the residual trauma of that violent event or the restless spirits of the victims, the Lizzie Borden house continues to be a site of intense paranormal claims, offering a chilling glimpse into a dark chapter of American history. Now let's dive into the bright lights and dark shadows of Los Angeles, to a house connected with one of Hollywood's most notorious and gruesome unsolved murders. The case of Elizabeth Short, who was posthumously nicknamed the Black Dahlia. In January 1947, Short's severely mutilated body was discovered in a vacant lot. Her murder shocked the nation and sparked a massive yet ultimately fruitless investigation. While a few properties have loose connections to Short, the Sowden House, a really unique Mayan revival-style home designed by Lloyd Wright, is the one most often whispered about in connection with her final days and alleged haunting. Dr. George Hodel, who owned the Sowden House from 1945 to 1950, became a prime suspect in his own son's investigation decades later. Though he was never charged, the theory suggests that the horrific murder may have actually taken place within the walls of this architecturally distinct home. Visitors and those who have lived in or investigated the Sowden House have reported a range of unsettling phenomena, often attributed to the restless and tragic spirit of Elizabeth Short. So, these include sudden, inexplicable cold drafts, strange, disembodied whispers, flickering lights, and honestly, just an overwhelming sense of sadness or dread in certain areas of the house. The feeling of being watched is a common complaint. The dark history and the enduring mystery of the Black Dahlia's murder have really given this location a chilling reputation, making it a focal point for paranormal investigators and folks fascinated by LA's darker side. Alright, our spooky tour now winds its way to the famous crooked Lombard Street in San Francisco, but this time, to an apartment that experienced such a string of bizarre and tragic events, its resident became convinced it was cursed. Back in the 1960s, a socialite named Pat Montandon lived at 1000 Lombard Street. It all started after she hosted an astrology-themed party. Suddenly, all sorts of inexplicable and frightening occurrences began to plague her home. Montandon reported hearing phantom laughter and music when no one was there, disembodied footsteps pacing the floors, and sudden icy winds sweeping through rooms even when the windows were closed. The unsettling activity escalated into tragedy. A close friend who had attended the party and later moved in died in a mysterious fire in the apartment. Later, 2 more of Montandon's friends who stayed there also met untimely deaths shortly after. These chilling events led Montandon to believe the apartment was cursed, possibly by a disgruntled tarot reader from her ill-fated astrology party, who had allegedly put a hex on the residence. The intensity of the cold spots, the disembodied sounds, and the string of misfortunes became too much, and Montandon eventually fled. The tale of 1000 Lombard Street serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes, a curse can be just as terrifying as any ghost. So, most of the places we've talked about are haunted by real-life tragedies. This next one, though, its creepy reputation comes from being linked to one of the scariest movie villains ever. This Victorian home in Perryopolis, Pennsylvania, served as the unsettling on-screen residence of the serial killer, James Buffalo Bill Gum, in the Academy Award-winning film, The Silence of the Lambs. Now, the horrors in the movie were fiction, of course, but the house itself? The house, a beautiful Queen Anne Victorian built in 1910, has a history that goes way back before its cinematic fame. Owners and visitors over the years, even before it became a pop culture landmark, have reported experiencing unexplained phenomena. These include sightings of shadowy figures, disembodied voices, and that classic feeling of being watched or an unseen presence in the rooms. The home's inherently eerie atmosphere, coupled with its unforgettable and terrifying role in cinematic history, has undoubtedly amped up its haunted reputation. Now a popular tourist attraction and even a place where fans can stay overnight, the Silence of the Lambs house offers a unique blend of true paranormal claims and the chilling residue of fictional horror, making it a uniquely unsettling destination. For many, the line between the film's dark narrative and the house's own alleged ghostly inhabitants becomes terrifyingly blurred. And for our final stop, we're visiting a truly mind-boggling place, the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. This sprawling, bizarre mansion is the product of immense grief, overwhelming guilt, and one woman's desperate mission to pacify the dead. Built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of rifle magnate William Wirt Winchester, this mansion is a bewildering labyrinth of rooms, staircases that lead to ceilings, doors that open onto blank walls or dangerous drops, and windows that just look into other rooms. Construction started in 1886 and pretty much never stopped, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, for 38 years, right up until Sarah's death in 1922. The story goes that after losing her baby daughter and then her husband, a heartbroken Sarah Winchester visited a Boston medium. Apparently the medium told her that her family and their fortune were cursed by the spirits of everyone killed by the gun that won the West, the Winchester rifle. The only way to appease these vengeful spirits, the medium claimed, was to move west and continuously build a house for them. As long as construction never stopped, Sarah's life would be spared. And so, she built. The house grew into this bizarre maze of 160 rooms with 40 bedrooms, 2 ballrooms, 47 fireplaces, and miles of twisting hallways. All designed, it said, to confuse the spirits that haunted her. Visitors and staff at the Winchester Mystery House today report a ton of paranormal activity. Ghostly apparitions believed to be Sarah Winchester herself, or maybe some of the spirits she was trying to house, are frequently sighted. Disembodied footsteps echo through empty corridors, doorknobs turn on their own, and inexplicable cold spots are felt throughout the sprawling mansion. The phantom sound of construction, echoing Sarah's never-ending project, has also been reported. Many believe the house acts as a kind of vortex for paranormal energy, a direct result of Sarah Winchester's decades-long obsession and her communication with the spirit world in the famous seance room. The Winchester Mystery House stands as a bizarre and chilling monument to one woman's grief and fear, and a place where the veil between worlds feels undeniably thin. So, which of these haunted histories sent the most shivers down your spine? Are there any infamous haunted houses you think we absolutely should have included on our list? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're craving more tales of the macabre and the unexplained, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more journeys into the shadows. From one coast to the other, these houses stand as chilling monuments to tragedy, mystery, and our enduring fascination with the unknown. They're places where the past simply refuses to stay buried, where echoes of sorrow and violence are said to linger in the very fabric of the buildings themselves. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the stories these walls could tell are undeniably terrifying. The fear they stir up is primal, tapping into our deepest anxieties about death, the unseen, and what might just be lurking beyond our understanding. Perhaps some doors are best left unopened, and some houses, well, maybe they're best left unexplored. Sleep well,